Ladies and gentlemen, in the ring at this time, please welcome superstar grime recording artist Stormzy as he brings to the ring
from home from him, and he looks very relaxed. Yes, he's walked this way before a few times, Fletch.
London, are you ready for me? Olympic gold. 13 wins. 13 devastating knockouts. Seven.
From Watford, England, the undefeated AJ Anthony Joshua!
Anyone, anytime, any place.
On Netflix, to those of you joining us right here in Texas. Are you ready to make history? Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, silver and chrome trunks. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall. He weighed in at 227.2 pounds. He holds a near perfect professional record of 10 victories, 1 defeat, with 7 of those wins coming by way of knockout. And he fights out of Dorado, Puerto Rico, by way of Cleveland, Ohio, USA. He is the multi-talented superstar who bridged the gap between social media and professional boxing. Boxer, a content creator, an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, and a promoter, and the self-proclaimed of boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the problem child, Jake El Gallo Paul.
Anthony Joshua, a sculpted powerhouse forged in Olympic gold and championship glory. Jake Paul, the internet's unpredictable wildcard, a showman turned fighter who thrives on shock and disbelief. If these two forces ever shared the same ring, it wouldn't just be a fight. It would be a collision between two worlds, legacy versus disruption. And when that bell rings, somebody's going to sleep. Boxing fans, buckle up. Today, we break down one of the most talked about possibilities shaking the fight world, Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. A two-time unified heavyweight champion standing across from the most polarizing figure in modern combat sports. Could it actually happen? And if it did, what would it look like? Let's unpack the chaos. Anthony Joshua's resume reads like a highlight reel of dominance. Olympic gold medalist. Former WBA, IBF, WBO, and IBO world champion. From his thunderous knockout of Vladimir Klitschko in front of 90,000 fans at Wembley, to his redemption victory over Andy Ruiz Jr. in Saudi Arabia, Joshua has built a legacy of power, precision, and poise under pressure. He's faced and conquered names like Dillian Whyte, Joseph Parker, Alexander Povetkin, and Kubrat Pulev, proof of a man who has fought at the sport's highest level. Then there's Jake Paul, the self-made disruptor who turned YouTube fame into legitimate combat credibility. With 9 professional bouts and only 1 loss, he silenced critics through sheer work ethic and belief. His right hand has ended nights for Tyron Woodley, Ben Askren, and Nate Diaz, while his tactical win over Anderson Silva showed he's more than just a brawler with buzz. Dismiss him if you want, but Jake Paul has mastered the art of turning attention into impact. So why would a former heavyweight champion even consider sharing a ring with an influencer-turned-fighter? One word: money. Saudi backers reportedly want it. Jake's team already said yes. And Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, hasn't ruled it out. Even without a belt on the line, this matchup would sell out Wembley and shatter pay-per-view records. Joshua's journey has been one of resilience. When Andy Ruiz Jr. stunned him in 2019, the critics circled like vultures. But he regrouped, came back disciplined, and outboxed Ruiz to reclaim his titles. That composure reminded the world that Joshua isn't just muscle, he's mindset. And his unforgettable war with Klitschko? The night he got knocked down, rose, and finished a legend. That's the DNA of a champion. For Jake Paul, stepping in with Joshua would mean leaving behind the comfort of cruiserweight opponents and walking into the lion's den of heavyweight warfare. But that's exactly what makes him dangerous. He's fearless. Against Tyron Woodley, he delivered one of the year's most devastating knockouts. Against Anderson Silva, he showed heart and endurance. Each fight has made him sharper, hungrier, and more confident. Training camps would tell two very different stories. Joshua, a natural 240-pound athlete, would focus on fundamentals, his signature jab, the thunderous uppercut, the ring control that once ruled the division. Jake Paul, hovering around 190 pounds, would have to bulk up, testing his conditioning against larger sparring partners and banking on his overhand right, the punch that made him famous. But make no mistake, the physical gap is massive. Joshua has fought and beaten top 10 heavyweights. Jake has yet to face anyone over 200 pounds. Joshua's jab alone could keep Paul at bay all night. Still, you can never count out a fighter who believes he can rewrite the script. Jake's timing, athleticism, and mental toughness give him a puncher's chance, and in boxing, one shot can change everything. Fight night. The arena erupts, a sea of flashlights, flags, and divided chants. Hardcore purists chant AJ. AJ, while Jake's younger fanbase screams his name like a rally cry. It's Olympic gold versus YouTube gold, prestige against rebellion. The opening rounds are tactical. Joshua controls distance with his jab, keeping Paul just out of reach. Jake tries to slip inside, looking for that signature right hand. Each time he connects, the crowd explodes, but Joshua stays calm, resetting the rhythm with world-class composure. By the middle rounds, the difference in pedigree becomes clear. Joshua begins to unleash short hooks and crisp uppercuts, pushing Paul to the ropes. The body shot sap Jake's energy, slowing his movement. Still, he refuses to quit, swinging back, earning respect for his toughness. Round 7. Joshua finds his rhythm. A sharp right hand snaps Paul's head back, followed by a brutal combination that sends a wave through the crowd. The gap in size and experience is undeniable now. Yet, even hurt, Jake keeps throwing, defiant until the end. Then comes round 9. Joshua steps in with cold precision, left jab, right hook, and the finishing touch, a devastating uppercut that echoes through the arena. Jake Paul crashes to the canvas. The referee counts, the crowd holds its breath, but the challenger can't rise in time. Anthony Joshua wins by knockout. Legacy withstands chaos. And as cameras flash and commentators shout over the noise, one thing is certain, Jake Paul earned respect that night, but the heavyweight throne still belongs to the king. Anthony Joshua stood victorious, the referee waving it off as Jake Paul's corner stepped in. A technical knockout. A statement. With that win, Joshua reclaimed more than just a result, he restored the aura that once defined him. The heavyweight champion was back, confident, composed, and ruthless. For the critics who questioned his hunger or hinted that his best days were behind him, this performance was a thunderous answer. But make no mistake, Jake Paul walked out of that ring with something just as valuable: respect. He may have fallen short, but he faced one of boxing's most dangerous men head-on, absorbed real punishment, and refused to fold. He earned credibility the hard way, not through words or marketing, but through grit and heart under the brightest lights imaginable. This fight wasn't about belts. It wasn't about rankings. It was about pride, legacy, and a generational shift in what boxing can be. A reminder that in this new age of combat sports, spectacle and skill don't have to be enemies, they can collide to create moments that capture the world's attention. For one unforgettable night, Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul gave fans exactly that, a fusion of old-school power and new-school showmanship. It was a crossover that united two different fan bases and reminded everyone why boxing, at its core, is still the most dramatic sport on earth. So now the question burns brighter than ever. Does Anthony Joshua's experience and heavyweight firepower crush Jake Paul again in any rematch that might come? Or does Jake return sharper, stronger, and ready to shock the world all over again, pulling off what could be the biggest upset in modern boxing history? The debate is open, the speculation endless. Drop your prediction below, Joshua or Paul? Who takes it if the rematch ever becomes reality?